Kyle repave at Sonoma this year. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I don't have an opinion too much. So yeah, it is what it is. I guess
Do
I
you
don't
think
really
it's going to
care.
change the racing at all? Like, what do you think? What do you think could happen there with the repave?
Well, there'd be less tire fall off, but you know, the speed I would assume would be higher. So maybe more room for mistakes. Um, so I really don't know if it's going to affect like the quality of the race. Like I don't know if it'll look way different, but so yeah, I think that's why I don't really have an opinion.
Kyle, you mentioned last week after you were out of the race, it was fun throughout the race. What made it so fun from the driver's seat?
It was fun to me just because we were up front for a lot of it. When we were battling, there was no real fuel saving stuff, so you were just kind of going at it and never really settled in line. Like you were always trying to pass, which was fun. So it's kind of like all the drivers had the same mindset of not riding around, and yeah, it was exciting. Cars were kind of a handful to drive there through the first half of the race. So yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun.
The type of race that you had here in the fall where you nearly wreck and you still come back and dominate, like do you feel like you should come out here today and be the driver to beat or one of the drivers to beat?
I don't know. I mean, it's a new season. Conditions are a lot different than last year, so Ford and Toyota have a different car, so I really don't know what to expect. I expect that we'll be fast. I don't know, where we'll be in the order of cars, but you hope you'll be in with a great team like Hendrick Motorsports. You're going to be good everywhere. So with our past success at Vegas, yeah, I think we'll be good. Will we be the dominant team? I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
Is there anything that you're looking at from the Fords and Toyotas that you're like intrigued about or like wondering like what can they do?
Well, just seeing kind of today, just seeing how quick they are in practice, how they qualify compared to normal. The Toyotas were really good at qualifying last year, I felt like. So just seeing kind of how they stack up compared to where they were last year will be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. We're all about to find out.
Statistically, this is one of your best tracks, particularly since being at Hendrick. Anything that you can point to that, of why you're so good here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, really, it's just that their setups are really good here. Gets to the bumps really well. And 1 and 2, compared to when I was at Ganassi, not that I struggled here, but I struggled getting to the bumps. The bumps felt massive with Ganassi, but with Hendrick, it feels mostly pretty smooth through there. So they've got a really good package for that, and it allows you to carry a lot of speed. So yeah, I mean ran inside the top 10 maybe every time except for the one where we crashed here a couple years ago. So yeah, it's definitely been a good track.
Were you relieved to have the dirt off the Bristol and just to go back and race on the asphalt there?
Well, it's not asphalt.
Well, concrete, sorry.
I think, I mean, you go back and look at my comments of when it was dirt, like I was not a fan of it. So I think that'll answer the question.
You mentioned the conditions. Just Chase said this might be like the windiest races ever, or windiest conditions he's ever raced in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we've been to Kansas when it's been super windy like this as well. And typically, I feel like when we've gone to Kansas and it is that windy, it's not as much of an impact as what you would assume it would be. But yeah, we'll see when we get out there if it's different here at Vegas. I remember it being really windy here one time, like a sandstorm or something. And again, I don't remember it really like making it way different for what we felt on the track. So we're all fighting the same conditions too, which is good, I guess, in a way. So yeah, we'll see how it is when we get out there in 20 minutes or so.
We're all enamored by the Logano glove.
What's that?
We're all enamored by the Logano glove, the webbing, and like, do you guys look at that and be like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting," or you look at it like, "Oh, why are you even bothering?" Or how does the driver or competitor look at that?
I don't know. I mean, I look at it and kind of laugh a little bit, and then also was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Obviously, I don't think they would have done it if they didn't think that there was like a big penalty or whatever from it. So, because it probably doesn't do like that much. So yeah, I think yeah, it was kind of funny. It was cool. He got lucky that the caution at the beginning of the race kind of helped him, but yeah, no, I'm sure he was just more annoyed than anything last Sunday with all the drivers making jokes about his gloves.
So have you ever? I mean, have you ever seen it, or in a varying rate, plethora of racing genres? Have you ever seen anything like that?
When I was at Ganassi, we had for qualifying one year, which we never qualified good on speedways, so I don't know why we were doing it anyways. But I had it wasn't web, but it was like a big glove, like oversized glove that I would hold up to the window opening there. So similar, but even back then, like I wouldn't have thought like to get a penalty. So that's probably why they did it. So yeah, always trying to find an edge, I guess. And I'm sure it wasn't Joey. Maybe it was Joey's idea, but it's probably an engineer's idea or aerodynamicist idea. But yeah, so it's whatever.
I asked Brad about it. He said he didn't think, like you, he didn't think it gave any like real benefit, but it probably made someone feel better. And I asked, is feeling better more important than what competitive advantage is it, when you're on the wheel?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's good that they did make some sort of penalty out of it, so we aren't all getting carried away with massive gloves that could become unsafe. But yeah, so we can all stop talking about it, I guess, after this week.
Are you getting excited about Indy?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I answered this. I mean, I didn't see it media day, but I answered a lot that I think everybody assumes that I just think about the Indy 500 every minute that I'm awake, but I don't.
When do you start to get ready for it?
Probably a couple days before the open test, and then really, I just think my brain, I've raced so much, I'm so busy all the time. It's hard. It is really hard for me to look way out into the future. All I'm caring about is Vegas right now, and then next week I'll care about Phoenix and so on. So
get back to you in May.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, how excited are you to get past the kind of uncertainty of 2 consecutive super speedways and on the tracks that you've been extremely successful?
Yeah, I think we're all excited just kind of see where we all stack up to the field. So yeah, it's good to get here to Vegas. Hopefully have a good practice and have a good weekend, and you'll be as strong as we were last year.
Happy for Roger last night?
Oh yeah, super happy. That was really cool. He's had a really good start to the season. He had a lot of moments last year where you had some good runs, and then you did get a win early in the year and all that, especially with Hendrick cars. Yo.com on his truck for the full season is special, for Rick to support him like that, and for him to go get the pole, get a win was really cool. So yeah, super happy for him. Yeah, I get to work out in the gym with him, and he's just such a good guy and works really, really hard too. I remember at Bristol last year, this was this time, leading into practice, and I always go to the bathroom downstairs, and he was down there in the little cafeteria, watching the replay from the truck race the night before, had his notebook doing notes. I'm like, what are you doing? But I just thought that work ethic was really cool. So been a fan of his for a long time.
Mistake-free last night. I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That people saw from him.
Yeah, I mean I think a very important piece of NASCAR racing is just executing and letting the others make mistakes and capitalize on it, and that's what he did.
Thank you.
Kyle, as a race car driver, with all the conditions out here, you as a race car driver, what do you do mentally and physically to prepare for something like what you're going to go through today? Wind's going to be this for practice qualifying, and then tomorrow a whole different ball game. What does a race car driver have to go through mentally and physically to prepare, sir?
I don't know. Nothing out of the ordinary, whether there's wind or 0 mile per hour wind. You're just going out there trying to feel your car and go as fast as it'll let you go. So for me, no different. Obviously the wind is more on your mind of what direction it's going and how that affects the balance, but we're all dealing with the same conditions, so I try not to overthink the wind.
Right. That was the biggest thing, not physically, but mentally controlling with the wind and everything, blowing the car around and you around.
Yeah, I don't think it'll blow us around.
You get so much information from Chevy, just data. How do you decide what to go through, what's important, or what to prioritize when you get that much?
Well, for me, I mean, I don't get like an email or anything. Most of my data, I mean, I'm sure it probably funnels through Chevy to Hendrick, but we do our own like meetings for the 5 teams. So yeah, every week it's kind of routine. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of data to look at and all that, and I don't know, more data, honestly, the better. Like, I'm not getting into the data of obviously the car and stuff, but your driver stuff, that's kind of what I get into and what I feel like impacts me the most. But no, it's good. It's good to have all those resources. It's they're growing too. The GM Performance Center there, it's growing. So there's more and more smart people coming in, and I think you see the results of that on the racetrack too. So all the teammates between the key partners, Hendrick, RCR, Trackhouse, all work really well together too, and we all have meetings. Like there's more meetings, I guess, more communication, really, which is just good.
I need to hold. Thank you. Thank you.